Hello friends, welcome to Cloud Institution again. And today we're going to see one of the another important interview questions on AWS, which is what is VPC peering and when would you use it? Okay, so the VPC peering is something very important concept, so you can expect this interview questions to be asked in all the interviews, if you can go for AWS interviews. Okay, so let's get straight into it. So what is VPC peering? So VPC peering allow you to connect two VPCs together, okay, enabling instances in a different VPCs to communicate as if they were on the same network. It's used to scenario. It's used for the scenarios like resource sharing on a multi-tier applications. What do you mean by this? For example, if you can go here, okay. So for example, if you want to use, so if this is the one VPC and this is another VPC, okay. So now I have VPC called VPC1, VPC1, and then this is called VPC2. Okay, so I have one subnet here. Okay, I have another subnet here. So let's consider this both are private subnets. There is no internet connectivity between this, right? So I have one instance inside this one. I have another instance also here. Okay, so now what happens is that if you want to connect the instances from this VPC to this VPC, okay, so it is not possible because both the VPCs are in the the this is the VPC2, right? Like, so VPC2. So both the VPCs are in the different network. So because of that, so I mean, the communication between these two instances is not possible at all. So then what we have to do is that we have to create some kind of a VPC peering concept. Okay, so we have to create some kind of a VPC peering. VPC peering is the concept that it's used to communicate the multiple VPCs together. Okay, so now we are going to create a VPC peering. So this is the VPC peering. Okay, and the peering connection between, okay, VPC1, okay, and then the VPC2. Okay, so now these two VPC should be able to communicate together as a single network. Okay, so this is the concept called VPC peering. For example, now I wanted to create one more VPC. For example, I have one more VPC here. Okay, if VPC2 wanted to communicate with VPC3, okay, let's consider this is VPC3. Okay, so now I have a subnets and all these things over inside. Okay, so now this VPC2 want to communicate with VPC3. Okay, so again we need to create another VPC peering between these two. Okay, so we need to create a VPC peering again. Okay, we need to establish a connection and add the route table to have a VPC peering connection between these two VPCs. Okay, so now the question is, okay, so this is the VPC peering, right? So now, okay, peering. So now the question is, will the VPC1 will be able to communicate with VPC3, because VPC1 is having a VPC peering with VPC2 as a route, and VPC2 having a VPC peering communication with the VPC3. Okay, now is it possible that VPC1 will be able to communicate with VPC3? The answer is no. The reason being, so if you wanted to create the VPC peering, okay, so VPC pairing between two VPCs, we have to create dedicated connectivity to the VPCs, individual VPCs. Okay, otherwise this kind of this kind of VPCs, so the hopping VPCs, right? Like, so we have a hop of VPC2 and the next hop of VPC3. So this kind of a the connectivity connections will not be working in a real-time scenarios. Okay, so this is what called a VPC pairing. Okay, so now hope you understand what is VPC pairing. Now let's go to the concept again. VPC pairing allow you to connect two VPCs together or two or more VPCs together, right? So establishing internet instances in a different VPCs to communicate as if they were on the same network. If you can see here, so now because we have been connected to VPC pairing and these two VPCs considered to be a single network. Okay, any instances which we are provisioning inside these two VPCs should be able to communicate between together. Okay, so that is the major concepts of VPC peering. Okay, I hope you understand this concept. Okay, so thank you so much for watching, and please subscribe to our channel, and please follow us on Instagram and Facebook. And if you have any questions or if you wanted to enroll for the courses, please reach out to us on this number. Okay, we will happy to help you with this. Okay, thank you.